Well, my friends, we are quite going to go down the rabbit hole today. This is definitely a deviation from the norm in my videos, but it's actually been burdening me for kind of a while to make a video on this topic, and I just want to go ahead and do it today. Now, a couple disclaimers first. Obviously, this video is going to be about truth and lies in YouTube, but I want to make it clear that I'm not a drama channel, just a very opinionated person, and I am opinionated. So I think that in this video, I'm not going to name any names, even though I will be alluding to certain people. So if you suspect that you know who I'm talking about, please do not go harass that person or give them any problems related to the topic here. And of course, also this video, while about content creation on YouTube, is not about YouTube as a platform. In fact, you know, if you really think back, I don't think even YouTube could have predicted that they would become what they are today. This this mass commercialized entity. It's all really fascinating because if you think about it, even as, you know, not far back as 2005, if you went to your teacher and said, "Teacher, when I grow up, I want to be a millionaire YouTuber," your teacher would have pat you on the head and said, yes, sweetie. Why don't you try to come up with a more realistic goal, like becoming an astronaut? All right, so obviously for this video, I want to dig a little deeper into this question of how do you detect lies on YouTube? How do you know when somebody is being honest? And in order for me to get to this topic, I want to start by telling you why I'm talking about this today, because I think this is such a fantastic example to base this video off of. So basically, there is a YouTuber who built an entire empire for herself off of a vegan lifestyle in which she shared, you know, what it's like to live vegan, recipes, all of this kind of stuff, all while being a very pretty person, you know, a seemingly very good role model, somebody that you would want to be like. Well, recently she was caught on camera by her friend, in fact, eating fish. A couple of other people have pointed out that she did know what she was doing, and you can tell by watching this video as she does use her arms to kind of cover this act of eating a fish, but ultimately she was exposed as being a fraud. Here she is selling a vegan lifestyle while eating fish. So this whole messy situation serves as this great example in my head of diving deeper into this question of what would motivate a YouTuber to lie to their viewers. So to kind of dig deeper into this question, I want to give you 3 example scenarios. I need a product that I don't like. This one. Okay, so we're gonna break this down into 3 ways to lie about this particular product. The most blatant is obvious, a blatant lie, right? If I sat here and said to you, "You guys, this is such a good eyeshadow stick. It is the best thing I've ever seen. It's so gorgeous. It's cheaper than a Steal a Glitter and Glow. And oh my gosh, it is so pigmented." So that's a lie, and we can all clearly see it's a lie, but what's interesting is there was truth mixed into that lie, and that's the way that most lies go. They're never 100% everything that comes out of that person's mouth is a lie. Well, no, there are cases like that, but generally, the truth is mixed in along with the lie. So then we have lying by omission, which is where I come on camera and I tell you, this is such a beautiful product. The packaging looks so luxurious. It really looks like it costs more money than it actually does. This right here, this is such a beautiful color. Just look at all the dimension and depth to it. So everything that I just said is true. I do think all of those things about this product, but the problem is I haven't given you enough information on the product. At this point, it sounds like I love it, which is not the truth. So then what is the truth? Well, this is the truth. I am so mad at myself for spending $22 on this product. I am so disappointed in it. I absolutely never touch it because I never get anything from it when I try to use it, and I'm really mad at myself for wasting money on this product that I can't return because I bought with Ulta points. That is the complete truth. But even with the truth, I have to sit here and be careful about how I phrase things. I have to make sure that I'm not speaking with more authority than I have. I cannot tell you this is the worst product that's ever been made, or I could potentially be in a situation for legal issues. Instead, I really have to phrase everything as my opinion, your opinion could be different, because again, I can't just slam a product. I have to only give my side of things. So I think it's really interesting that even when you're talking about truth, it still has to be my truth and not the truth, just to avoid any kind of repercussions. Let me tell you, as a YouTuber who's actually come close to running into these kinds of issues before I learned, I think that this is actually a reason why you might notice that as people grow as channels, they start to get a lot more disclaimer friendly. So let's connect all this back to Fish Girl from the beginning of this video. What were her motivations to tell a very blatant lie that she was leading a vegan lifestyle when she wasn't? Well, quite possibly one of them is her level of success. When you've built up a career based around a certain concept, as they like to say on YouTube, your brand, then you kind of are forced to stick to it, even if your opinions and your attitudes change. So at some point, I think it kind of becomes hard to ignore that we as humans get comfortable in the amount of money that we're making, no matter what it is, okay? So if you start living a lifestyle that requires you to make $100,000 a month, you are not going to want to jeopardize this. It almost becomes kind of a trap in some ways. So I guess what I'm getting at here is how important it is to consider what's at stake. What is the potential lie that somebody could be telling, and what would be the repercussions of that lie? So again, my point in making this video is not to expose drama or anything like that. Instead, it's to help you to be able to detect when somebody's being honest versus when somebody's being less than honest, because now you know there's more than one kind of lie. I've seen some circulating opinions that I want to address really quickly. One of the most common is that you can't trust big channels because they have too many, connections. I would love to tell you that I completely agree, and I think, yeah, you should absolutely only be watching small channels like myself, of course. But I actually, unfortunately, don't think that. I think that a big channel can be honest sometimes, and I think that a small channel can be honest sometimes, and it's up to you to determine when these situations are occurring. So some of the bigger channels, at least in the beauty community, have managed to gain a sense of trust by giving a lot of negative reviews, kind of slamming certain companies because they're backed by intense lawyers and they don't have to worry about the things that I do. But at the same time, I look at some of these larger YouTubers and I'm like, well, it's kind of obvious that they're also pushing the products that they sell, that they've made. So how much is a person who owns a brand selling, just for example, we'll say lipsticks, how much is that person going to say this other brand who is not me has lipsticks that are better than mine? That is never going to happen for obvious reasons, right? But I do think there's some validity to saying that these people also have a tremendous amount of experience. They've tried so many more products than the average person to compare to in the first place. So I do think it's worth considering what they have to say, but keeping it in a healthy perspective, keeping in mind what their goal is on YouTube. And interestingly enough, I do think that same exact logic extends to small channels of questioning, well, what is their goal? It's fascinating to me that YouTube has become such a large industry that genuinely kids do tell their teachers that they want to become YouTube stars. It's amazing that we've arrived at this point. And I think that is a motivation for a lot of people who have completely ignored the fact that survivorship bias is a real thing. The reason I'm saying this is that I think depending on the motivation for a small channel, when certain opportunities arise, I think there is a bit of a risk for less than the truth to appear. I do think that most people, I think everybody who starts a YouTube channel goes into it believing that they're going to be honest. But sometimes things happen where you start to question, are they still being honest? Is their motive still the same, or have external influences started to factor in? So I'll give you some examples so you know what I'm talking about. As a small channel, but one that's been around for kind of a while, I've had a lot of PR offers sent to my email inbox, the vast majority of which I've declined, but bear in mind, I'm a stubborn person going into this. I come from a background of entertainment, not only myself, but my parents were both in entertainment. So I grew up knowing that people are going to tell you your whole life, hey, we'll give you this gig and we'll pay you an exposure. And, my entire life I've declined anything like that stubbornly because I knew. But, this video is not about me. What I want to emphasize here is I do have a concern from the way that I've received some emails. I have a lot of emails sitting in my inbox that say things like, hey babe, we think you're gorgeous and we think you're going to be the next big thing. We would love to offer you the opportunity to be on our PR list. We will give you a 30% off code off of any of the products on our website. That's a coupon. That's not a PR list. And considering that I receive these emails and they continue to be sent out, that means that this has to be working for somebody somewhere. Small channels, that's companies taking advantage of you. You can walk into Ulta right now and get 50% off products. You don't need somebody's 30% off of a brand you've never heard of. And even with what has seemed like legitimate PR experiences, terms and conditions have changed too quickly to make me comfortable. I have no qualms about writing return to sender on a box when things get sketchy. But again, I'm kind of tough in this aspect. I've seen a lot. I've been in this industry in a different way for a long time. But I worry, do small channels know when to say no? And I think I'm particularly worried for younger people. And this is something, I've said this so many times. I sometimes act like I'm older than I am, for the record. But I do worry that, even for myself, if I was doing this channel at 18, would I be able to say no to some of these people and their pushy attitudes? I mean, just imagine how great it sounds to be, an 18-year-old college student with barely any money. A company approaches you and says, we'll send you a free lipstick. But next thing you know, you get the lipstick in the mail only to find out it has more baggage than your ex-boyfriend. And ultimately that is my concern. I don't worry that much about small channels. I just worry about them being taken advantage of. So what I'm saying here is you should always be able to receive a product and feel comfortable saying, actually, I didn't like this and I don't recommend it. You should always feel that way. And if any company is trying to bully you into giving a positive review, say no. You have the right to say no. So what I ultimately hope that you take from this video is the concept that people may not be giving you the whole truth. Nobody will ever sit here and tell you, I am a liar, but you can pay attention to the subtle cues that indicate that person is being less than honest. You've probably heard all about body language, how much people speak with more than words. People speak with their entire lives, with every choice that they make. And unfortunately, in some ways, it is up to you to pay attention to those. But that is something that I think is extra interesting about YouTube as a platform. I think it's a lot easier to really see the truth and the lies as opposed to a platform like Twitter where you're only seeing text, or Instagram where you're only seeing mostly pictures. With YouTube, you have so much more subcontext to a person speaking. You can see their mannerisms. So I hope you guys were able to take something from this video of value, and I hope that you continue to take a more investigative approach to everything that you're told. Please feel free to contribute your thoughts into the comments section. Give this video a like because honestly, every YouTuber likes you to hit the like button. And I'll see you guys next time.